See this last night, Fever superstar Caitlin Clark joining the NBC Sunday Night Basketball pregame show. She was a special contributor for last night's Lakers-Knicks game.
You can see her here alongside Pacers legend Reggie Miller. She is back on NBC March 29th when the Knicks play the Thunder in OK.
Caitlin Clark just made her debut on NBC's Basketball Night in America, and the internet is completely spiraling. She didn't just pop in with safe takes or surface-level chatter, she brought real insight, the kind that made fans pause and say she sounded sharper than analysts who've held those seats for decades. The reaction to her first appearance has been electric and chaotic all at once. Now the question is buzzing everywhere. Can Caitlin Clark truly grow into a legitimate broadcasting star while still dominating on the court? Or is this moment being inflated because her spotlight is already so bright?
Special correspondent, welcome to the team, Caitlin Clark. Yes,
first time in MSG for a Knicks game, so it's pretty cool.
I know it's our first Knicks game, first time feeling the atmosphere. We got to get you to play on this court one day.
We have to talk to Adam about that.
Can we make it mellow? Honestly, if there's someone
even if it's a preseason game, we got to get it done. I don't think the Liberty will want to move a game over here, but we'll play anybody. It'll be fun.
Yeah. How could you describe maybe the atmosphere your first time in it?
Well, I think as a player, like, this is kind of when you feel the atmosphere the most, is when you're out on the court warming up. So, I mean, there's just a different type of buzz. And obviously when LeBron comes to town, it's probably really different. But, you know, Knicks fans are crazy, and I love it. I love people that are passionate about basketball, so it's pretty.
So Caitlin Clark sat down with NBC's Basketball Night in America crew, and within minutes of her segment hitting the air, social media detonated. People who usually scroll right past WNBA coverage suddenly stopped and leaned in, talking about how natural she looked on camera. Veteran basketball analysts were posting in real time about how effortlessly she carried the conversation. Even casual fans noticed how she broke down the league's current reality without sounding rehearsed or corporate. And the timing couldn't have been more tense. The WNBA is less than 100 days from the 2026 season, yet the League and Players Association are still locked in CBA negotiations. There's no expansion draft for Portland or Toronto. Free agency hasn't started. The draft is set for April 13th, but nothing feels firm because the CBA isn't finalized. It's chaos. And NBC drops Caitlin right into the middle of it to talk shop. That's either genius television or a trap for a first-timer. Turns out it was genius, because she navigated every question flawlessly.
In May, you can catch the brightest stars in the game. Caitlin Clark going toe-to-toe with the biggest women's basketball stars on the biggest stage. And guess what, guys? We're less than 100 days away from the start of the 2026 season, but the WNBA and the Players Association are still negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement, with the latest meeting actually scheduled for tomorrow. You can take a look at last year's offseason calendar. The league is already behind schedule. No expansion draft yet for the two new franchises in Portland and Toronto. And ahead of last season, the Golden State Valkyries expansion draft, you can see it took place in December of 2026, and they're scheduled to tip off May 8th. Caitlin, I'm just curious, because you said that this moment right now is one of the biggest moments the WNBA has ever seen. Looking forward into the future, what would you like to see happen as you come to a negotiation?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's just a big moment for the WNBA. I think all of women's sports, I think this is one of the biggest moments we've ever had. So, you know, I feel very confident that we're going to get something done, and that's because we're in this moment because of the product we put on the floor. So we need to be able to continue to do that, and I know everybody's working really hard. There's a meeting tomorrow that's super important, and I truly do believe we're going to get something done here in the next couple of weeks. But like you said, I mean, there's a lot of boxes that we still need to check. We've added two new teams. I mean, there's going to be more players than ever, and then we have to get into free agency, then have a normal draft as well. So there's a lot of things left to do, but I really do feel confident that both sides are going to reach.
When asked about the CBA negotiations, Caitlin didn't hide behind a safe, "I'm sure it'll all work out" answer. She leaned in and said, "This is one of the biggest moments, not just for the WNBA, but for all of women's sports." She acknowledged how critical the upcoming meeting is, expressed real confidence that a deal could be finalized in the next couple of weeks, then calmly laid out everything still on the table. 2 new teams, more players than ever, free agency, the standard draft. That wasn't scripted talking points. That was someone who genuinely understands the business side of basketball and knows how to explain it. Most active players would stumble there or fall back on the usual, "the league and union are working hard" line. Caitlin didn't. She delivered a complete, thoughtful response that showed she sees the entire picture. And the contrast is impossible to ignore. While some WNBA veterans are outside league offices waving inflatable rats, Caitlin is on national television professionally discussing the future of the league. One approach builds credibility and pulls new fans in. The other makes the league look unserious.
Slated for April 13th, but the growth of the league has been so much. I mean, can you just help us to understand the transition this league is going on right now?
I mean, it's incredible, and I remember my first WNBA game when I was a young girl. I went to the Minnesota Lynx when they had their dynasty with Maya Moore, and they were playing the Seattle Storm, and now basically any arena you go to, it's sold out. We're adding 2 teams. We're up to 14 now, and then hopefully getting to 18 in the next couple years. So, you know, business is booming, and that's a really good thing, and we kind of just got to keep meeting the moment. The talent's getting better and better. You see it at the college level coming into the professional game, too. So I feel very fortunate, and hopefully I have a long career ahead of me as well.
Well, just know that the league's fortunate to have you, a transcendent piece of growing the game. We appreciate you just joining us on Basketball Night.
When the host asked her to help people understand the transition the league is going through, Caitlin made it personal, reaching back to being a young girl in the stands at her first WNBA game, watching the Minnesota Lynx dynasty with Maya Moore battle the Seattle Storm, then pulling that memory straight into the present moment where arenas are sold out, teams are being added, and the league is pushing from 14 toward 18 franchises in just a few years, turning a simple growth question into a full-circle story of a fan becoming a centerpiece of the game, the kind of storytelling that lands even with people who don't live and breathe basketball, relatable without feeling forced. And when she said, "Business is booming, and that's a really good thing, and we kind of just got to keep meeting the moment," it landed heavier than it sounded because that was Caitlin Clark subtly acknowledging her own impact without ever saying her name, even though everyone knows ratings spike when she plays, jerseys fly off shelves, and arenas sell out when the Fever come to town, yet she kept the focus on the collective rise of talent, college feeding the pros, the product improving, which is smart positioning, and when the host called her a transcendent piece of growing the game, it felt accurate, made even stronger by her humble response about feeling fortunate and hoping for a long career, planting the idea that she's here to stay. Because this debut mattered far beyond her just being good on TV, with NBC putting her on their flagship basketball show alongside NBA legends, not buried in some late-night segment but front and center, real estate that signals belief, and by nailing it, she cracked open doors to future opportunities, building a broadcasting career while still playing, something almost no one does, with massive implications since her presence exposes WNBA conversations to NBA audiences who might never seek them out, the kind of cross-promotion money can't buy. And while some critics call that a distraction, the reality is it elevates her, the league, and the sport, contrasting sharply with others choosing protest props over professionalism, especially when Caitlin looked completely at ease on camera, relaxed, conversational, polished, humanized by small moments like talking about enjoying the Knicks game in her slippers, which explains why she connects so easily, and NBC scheduling her return on March 29th in Oklahoma City shows this wasn't a one-off, but the start of something perfectly timed as the league sits in CBA limbo, keeping WNBA storylines alive during the NBA season, all while highlighting the uncomfortable truth that she's likely making more from broadcasting than her WNBA salary, an indictment of the system and a reminder of why the CBA matters. Yet instead of complaining, she showed political savvy, discussing sensitive issues without creating problems, earning praise from analysts who would be the first to criticize if she stumbled, proving this wasn't hype but substance, positioning herself as more than a player, as a long-term media force, ambassador, and analyst, thinking in decades not moments, miles ahead of most athletes making this transition, and by succeeding on NBC's biggest stage while the league's business side is still chaotic, Caitlin Clark didn't just look like the face of women's basketball. She looked like its most credible voice too.